We got to talk about Bradley Beal being traded to the Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, second-round picks, and a pick swap. So the Suns now have their big three with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. They still have DeAndre Ayton. And this is a deal that the Wizards had to make. They didn't get anything in return. I don't think Chris Paul's ever going to see a minute in a Wizards uniform, and they're just going to sit around and wait to maybe get some value for him. But ultimately, this is the Suns going all in on trying to win in the West. They moved from plus 750 to plus 650 to win the NBA title. I have to say, this doesn't do much for me. I like Bradley Beal. He is a good shooter. He is a good second, third option on a team, which is maybe how he fits in Phoenix. I don't necessarily think that he makes the Suns appreciably better because they still don't have any depth. That's the thing. This is the same thing that killed them in the playoffs this year, which is, they're top in town. They're starting five, can play with anyone, and then they get worn out because they have no one left on the bench. As for the Wizards, they are finally caving into a complete rebuild, and they had to because I cannot believe they signed Bradley Beal to this contract a couple years ago. 5 years, $251 million, a no-trade clause, a terrible contract. And now the Wizards are admitting, all right, we got a 5 or 6 year rebuild ahead of us now. Do you like this for either side?
Well, let me be clear. I don't really care about the Wizards. I don't. Like, they're rebuilding, so, I don't care what they're getting. I think the biggest question mark is, what are the Suns doing? Are they just going all in on offense? Because we know Bradley Beal don't play no defense. And also, is he going to play the whole season? Hasn't this been the biggest question mark surrounding Bradley Beal, is if he can stay healthy? So, I don't know if I like it for the Suns. On first glance, I was like, what are you doing here? You need more depth. Wasn't the problem for the Suns in the postseason is that they had nobody outside of their big three that was contributing or bringing anything to the table? They still have this problem. The only thing that I can think of that maybe is the reason for doing this is, you just try to go in on all in on offense, because isn't the foe you're trying to build your team to beat the Denver Nuggets? Nobody's going to stop Nikola Jokic anyway, so maybe you just go all in offense? I don't know.
Well, and also, too, when you look at Beal's contract, he got to choose. His wife's family is from out west, so that's where he wanted to go. So he got some late interest from the Bucks. The Heat were looking at him, but they really want Damian Lillard. That's who they want. The Kings showed some interest, so did the Knicks. But ultimately, Beal said, I want to go to the Suns. The Suns were willing to take on his contract, willing to go all in. The Wizards said, fine, we found a place that will take this contract. We will be done with all that money in a year. But I'm like you. These are some great shooters, but DeAndre Ayton, even though he's a very good player, has never really wanted to be in Phoenix, and just no depth at all. They're also smaller now, unless they want to put maybe Devin Booker at the point. I don't know. This just doesn't – the odds shorten just because Beal is an upgrade in talent. But overall, when you look at depth top to bottom, I just don't think the Suns have what it takes to compete in a very competitive West. This just doesn't do anything for me.
That's what I'm saying. They're still not getting past the Nuggets. Nuggets still look way better.
Right.
So I don't think – isn't that what the goal is here? You want to build a team that can at least get out of the West? I don't think they can. They have 3 great scorers. But how many, primary scorers do you need? How many primary scorers can you have in one offense?
I agree. And this is crazy. All 4 players that we were talking about, the Suns, are on max deals. Combined, 4 players, Durant, Beal, Booker, Ayton, they will make a combined $161 million next season. That is just insane. John Moran is going through a life-changing experience right now, Chelsea. I'm trying my best to...
The opposite of let's
transition.
Go, girls. Sit down, gentlemen.
Sit down, gentlemen. So he has been suspended by the NBA. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the association, for 25 games. And we knew this was coming. And even Bill Rowland, our executive producer, called it. He said, this is going to be a Friday news dump. We knew they were waiting until after the Nuggets championship parade to do this. That's exactly what they did. So we know this stems from that May 13th incident. Where he was flashing a gun in a car on IG Live. And we've heard, maybe it's a toy gun. It doesn't matter. So the NBA is saying in part, quote, "We believe a suspension of 25 games is appropriate and makes clear that engaging in reckless and irresponsible behavior with guns will not be tolerated." Morant has responded saying, in part, it's a long statement you can read on Twitter. He says, "I'm sorry for the harm I've done. To the kids who look up to me, I'm sorry for failing you as a role model. I'm going to be better. I will work on my mental health and decision-making. I hope you'll give me a chance to prove it to you. I'm a better man than I've been showing you." So all that sounds great. Hoping that Ja gets it together. But I will say, I frankly, listening to Adam Silver before this came out, I thought it was going to be longer than 25 games. I hope Ja gets it together, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And maybe he gets it together. But what he's saying, this is almost like crying wolf. I hope he gets it together because I want to see Ja Morant play basketball. He's exciting to watch. When he is on the court, he's a walking highlight reel. But this is the same thing that he said the first time, which is, I'm going to work on my mental health. I'm going to work on the people I associate with. I'm going to prove I'm better. I hope he does, but I need to see it first because I'm a little stunned that the first suspension was not a wake-up call for him. He went to Florida reportedly and spent some time away from the team, got right, and it wasn't long after that. That's the thing, that I don't know how much punishment he's going to take, be it suspension. And also, he cost himself perhaps a Supermax contract because he missed those games. He didn't make an All-NBA team. And if he had made a first-team All-NBA roster, he could have made millions and millions of dollars in cash, a lot more money. So he's costing himself reputation. He's costing himself time on the court. He's costing himself millions of dollars. I don't know how much more he has to lose before he says to himself, I've got to change something, but I've got to see it first.
He's also costing his teammates. Think about if you are a teammate of Ja Morant and you are on this young squad that has a ton of talent and the leader of your team can't seem to stay on the right track. It has to be incredibly frustrating. And especially for a Grizzlies team that felt like they played with a ton of chemistry. Like when they were on the come up, didn't it feel like a team that kind of wore that like villain patch on their sleeve, like a badge of, you know, something they want to stand for? They were a young team. It felt like they had great chemistry. Now I feel like that chemistry is kind of down the toilet. Like Dylan Brooks is gone. I'm not saying he's a big part of the chemistry either, but still, it feels like a team that was on the come up, but now they've hit a big roadblock and the West is just getting better.